Welcome, everybody. Are you out there? Hello, welcome.
I,
Glad you're
I
here.
still don't.
I see. I'm gonna
Yeah,
wait for people to start tuning in. Let me
yeah, I
look in the
still don't
comment.
see anything. Have you started?
Hello.
My screen's all black. Have you
I
started?
see you. I see your face. I can't see your eyes
It's
though.
super. Can you adjust the
The light.
volume or light?
Let me see here. Uh,
My earbuds are good. Oh, hey, never mind. Never mind. Sorry about that.
oh, you had your sunglasses
It
on.
was.
Okay. What are we going to talk about today? You know what? This show's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
It's harder than it looks, and honestly, it doesn't even really look hard.
And I get tired more easily and just makes me think more about, the good old day. Well, not so much, not quite that far back, but the
Hmm.
earlier days of child rearing and parenting
Just
and
the brevity of life.
yeah, what?
Yeah. Well, the parenting, I think what you were
Oh,
saying.
parenting, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like,
Well, I mean, parenting is always, I mean, I think about it periodically. I walk through my house and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm a parent there. I see kids and so it comes to my mind and then it goes and then things come and go like that pretty freely. They don't stay very long. Um, where's I going with that? Oh, I know. So last time or another time we talked about just like driving stuff. And it's been really hard, and I appreciate people that have reached out to us. Well, I think just you, I guess, but I appreciate that. And um, but it got me thinking about another phase of life that someone mentioned to us. They said, really, there's two phases of life that are very similar and very difficult. You know, both the teenage driving, but also the potty training phase. And the more I thought about that, the more I realized there's a lot of truth in that. And it just made us take a step back and ask ourselves if we were to approach driving the way we approach potty training, could we get different results? And
mm,
I think of just how we would go about that. You know, it would be much more like we're driving and and my daughter does something that's good this time and we're like, good girl, what a big girl,
yeah.
you did a mergy, that's great. And we would give her skittles or something. I mean, she would keep her hands on the wheel. I would have to work the logistics out. I don't want to teach a bad driving thing, but
And like after you've given a whole bag of Skittles, you're like, honey, we're going to start giving you raisins now.
yeah, you have to watch. I mean, it's kind of like with potty training, that first day you're just like pounding the juice and milk to give them opportunities for practice. And then you realize that they've learned that if I practice 8 times in a row, I get Skittles every time. And then you just have to adjust technique as you
And
go.
even parents can figure that out.
Well, sometimes I just need to go 8 times. I mean, don't be critical of, well, that's an age discussion. Never mind. But I think
Exactly.
I was thinking, what was I thinking? I think
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of parallels there of
All
just
right, time for a commercial break. Thank you. That was good. No, we're back. Keep going.
we were talking a little bit about this whole potty training thing. Now I think like if we were to use that technique for driving, um, I think it could be confusing. Like let's say we go and there's some driving and there's like, hey, you had a boo-boo, the nice man behind us is screaming and honking because you kind of cut him off when you turned. And then like later if I was talking to like the grandparents as an example and they say, oh, how's driving going, and we're like, it was good, only 3 accidents today, that could come across differently than what we mean, I guess. But
Right, because when you're potty training, an accident usually typifies, potty in your pants or,
hmm
poo poo or number two or whatever you call it, not making it into the
the
bathroom on
accident
time.
is loss, not to be scientific, but it's basically loss of bowel control. And I think that actually that was it's just science. I mean, that very thing could happen while driving, like to the just if you've seen just in that moment of fear, and then you, I don't have to keep going. I think the point's well made already.
What
Back
always
to you.
amazed me was frozen, the frozen look, like I I didn't make it in time and I can't move.
I guess that would be like the driving version of that would be you're like partway into the intersection and the yellow light turned red. You're like, do I go? Do I back up? But there's a car behind me, but I can't go. But these guys are coming this way. And
Right. Yeah, or you're like, honey, the semi had to go up on the curb and make a big, wide turn and almost hit that fire hydrant. At least he didn't hit the fire hydrant. You're
Mhm.
doing good. You're doing good, honey.
It's not all your fault. He could have chosen a different route.
That's right. Could have
Just
always.
that there's always affirmation. I feel like to be able to give.
This is a
And
really good point.
I think practice is a big part of, so for potty training, obviously they practice, and then, but for driving too, it's like, in the morning you go to Costco, and then in the afternoon you're like, you need the practice. So you're like, well, let's go back to Costco again. We forgot a few things we really can't live without, and um,
Which
well, actually, I
happens.
guess I guess we do that. It's not because of driving practice. That's just what happens in real life. But you make multiple trips back and forth to places, and there is a point where it's like you just can't do Skittles anymore. I mean, you need to move to, like you said, the Cheerios, the raisins, the whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know, even driving by myself, it still feels good to you do a good U-turn and reward yourself with some M&Ms or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we ever need to lose that completely. I just think we have to be careful.
You know how in driver's training, driver's ed, there's the whole nighttime driving and how many hours you have to get
Mm,
in
yeah,
to be before you can get your driver's certificate or driver's license. That also correlates with potty training, doesn't it?
word, that totally does. Yeah.
Because, and I'll just go ahead and explain why. Because when you're trying to train a little young child to stay dry all night, well, I'll be honest, I typically would allow my wife the privilege of night duty and
Mm.
making sure that the children were learning to stay dry all night because she's really good at it and I think that
Well,
she has a
she's done it
gift.
all day, so she's ready for the night, right? I mean, she has
Yeah,
that experience, and you can't put a price tag on
right.
experience.
And she has a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift that she's been given and how to, I mean, she does it so naturally and I figured
Mm.
it's the least I could do to let her watch over the children all night and if they had an accident, to comfort them and change their, the wet or dirty, sheets and
And that was
diaper.
probably a tough call for you, but you stepped up and said, as the man, I'm going to do what's right for the child and not let pride get in the way.
Right, and for our
That's
marriage.
good. Right.
Because later I didn't realize it would come this quickly, but in driver's
Same.
ed or driver's education, I've got stuff to do. You know,
Right.
I've got
Right.
comedians to study, and
But you're there for your wife while
no,
she's
and that's where
teaching.
I was
Like
going
you're,
with that.
yeah.
Is that I prefer to let her do the driver's education because
Mm.
it's hours on the road. You're sitting there and you get all that quality time together, mother, daughter. Oh, perfect. And I just thought it is the best way that I can give them that quality time together is if she can go driving with them as the least I could do. And like I told you with potty training, it's like she has a gift. You know, she's so
Right.
good at encouraging and you did a good job there. You used your blinker. Good job. And see that stop sign? What? See? She's much calmer
Hmm.
at it than I am, it seems like in some of those situations. So I just figured the best thing I could do at this point is let her take care of it. In the nighttime driving it as well.
And you're only a phone call away.
Right. And I figured if she ever needs help, she would ask. I
Hmm.
mean, I told her, you got this, babe. You got
Yeah.
this. And if you ever need anything, let me know. And she never did. So,
Well, yeah. I don't. Seems like it would work.
what was your
I guess
experience like?
we'll see. It's been mixed. Um, I'm just struggling with how much I should say publicly. Although with only 4 subscribers, this isn't exactly public. But I will say it's just a balance. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I
Yeah.
think, um,
Do you let,
yeah.
did you let your child practice driving on the way to church in the morning?
Well, that's a tricky question because the way to church in the morning right now consists of walking from master bedroom into kitchen to get coffee, then into living room to turn on screen.
Because of COVID.
Yes, because of COVID. And so there, I mean, sometimes things drive me crazy. Well, no, that's not what you're asking for though. So no, we haven't, but and there might have been some practice driving like on a country road. I don't want to speak to the legality of that or anything else that would incriminate me either on or off the air.
About bust
And
out into
no
the
further
come on
comment.
country roads, take me home, but I didn't
I
know if you
think
could get
that
into a
okay,
copyright issue.
that song to me, that song is written by a parent that's sitting on the passenger side, and they're like, "Just get me home, just get me home." But it's a nicer melody than that, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, did you have anything else you wanted to say
I,
about potty training or, you know,
Not really. I mean,
child
it's
rearing,
not.
child training, driver's ed?
It's hard, but it's not rocket surgery. I mean, you just work your way through it. It's kind of what I think about it.
Mhm.
And sometimes you realize like we're not in a good spot, and you just everyone gets together and we're like we're going to turn this thing around 360 degrees. And I mean, it is what it is at that point.
Just do the old 360.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
That may
Well,
not pencil out. I kind of
I
forget. But what was on? I mean, it's been good to hang out, but
right.
do we
I'm
cover
I'm
what
just
was
going
on
to
your
end
list
with
or
this. I think we should end with this.
let's end strong. Whatever we do, let's agree to end strong.
What do you call a bunch of chicken farmers?
It's going to be strong. Oh, I don't know.
Uh, chicken tenders.